To live alone, one must be a beast or a god, said Aristotle. Nietzsche adds, or both. But in today's world, where the mind is trained to constantly seek approval, the very idea of being alone is already seen as an illness. And this is where the invisible loss begins. Every minute running away from yourself is a minute handing over your power, your ideas, and your money to those who profit from your distraction. A 2010 study published in PLOS Medicine equates the health risks of chronic loneliness to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The system will tell you the cure is to increase social connections, but no one will tell you there's a rarer antidote: learning to be alone without feeling empty. Henry David Thoreau, a voluntary exile at Walden Pond, said, "I never found the companion that was so companionable as solitude." In practice, this means some invest in the safest market there is, the market of their own mind. Others hand over their internal capital to the noise of the world and spend their lives paying emotional interest. This video is a map for escape, not from destructive loneliness, but from the solitude that frees, that rebuilds character, sharpens clarity, fixes bad financial decisions, and creates the conditions for greatness. Nietzsche had already warned, loneliness is one thing, solitude another. You have learned that now. In Solitude, a philosophical encounter, Philip Koch defines solitude as a stretch of experience disengaged from other people in perception, thought, emotion, and action. A world where other people are absent. That is enough for solitude. Great minds understood this early. Jesus, 40 days and nights in the desert. Lao Tzu, Buddha, Moses, found visions that shaped centuries in silence. Nietzsche exiled himself to escape the theft of his own soul. When I am among the many, I live as the many do, and it seems they want to banish me from myself. Today, the equivalent is stepping away from the timeline, refusing the invitation to live according to trends, and reclaiming the time to build something of your own. A project, a strategy, an investment plan that doesn't depend on the mood of the crowd. Today, before you pick up your phone, sit for 2 minutes with no stimuli. Notice the discomfort as if it were a debt collector knocking at your door. Don't run. Richard Byrd, isolated for 6 months in Antarctica, said, "My sense of values is changing. Things that were once in solution in my mind now seem to be crystallizing." The difference is simple. Some know the hidden benefits of solitude. Others only know the panic of silence. Schopenhauer warned, "A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom." In modern terms, your ability to be alone determines how free you are to make decisions based on logic, not on neediness. Neediness is expensive. It leads to bad partnerships, impulse purchases, dependence on jobs that drain your life. List today 3 decisions you made to please others and calculate how much time, money it cost you. Sartre described it. You are alone in a park, in communion with the environment. Someone sits in front of you. Suddenly, you exist for their gaze. Your freedom contracts. William James spoke of the disappointment of seeing another hiker interrupt a solitary trail. Judgment, even silent judgment, is an invisible leash. Today, the same thing happens when you open Instagram. Every like, or lack of it, changes your behavior, and you don't even notice you're making decisions for an invisible audience. In solitude, that leash falls away. Hazlitt said, "The soul of a solitary journey is liberty, perfect liberty, to think, feel, do, just as one pleases. Freedom is not a luxury, it's a financial asset. Those who depend on external applause spend more, risk worse, make more mistakes, and all of it erodes wealth. Walk alone for 15 minutes tomorrow, no music, no phone. Just you and your judgment of yourself." Koch calls it attunement to self, a flow of thoughts and emotions without censorship. Here, the masks fall away. May Sarton, after a draining relationship, said, "I begin to have intimations of a return to some deep self that has not functioned for a long time." But be warned, the voice that emerges is not always sweet. And sometimes, it whispers truths you've spent your whole life paying not to hear. Old traumas return. Forgotten rages knock at the door. Coke warns that these contents can be safely lived through precisely because no one is there to be hit by them. If you endure this confrontation, you find clarity, and clarity reduces mistakes. Poorly chosen business deals, bad partnerships, emotional investments in toxic people, all are born from the confused mind that fears being alone. Write down the most uncomfortable thought that comes to you in the next 30 seconds. Don't try to change it, just face it. Ancient cultures knew it. The path to maturity passed through isolation. Among the Tarahumara, children would spend weeks alone. Tribal rites left teenagers in the wilderness, and only those who conquered fear, hunger, and darkness returned as men. Today, we run. We fill every moment with screens, conversation, noise, and we grow fragile. Blaise Pascal diagnosed it centuries ago. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. But what about you? Are you still the owner of your thoughts? Or have you outsourced your mind to the noise? Today, delete or silence one notification that always interrupts you. That is your first brick of freedom. If this message touched something you don't usually hear, prove that you are still the owner of your mind. Write in the comments, "I silence the noise." Because that's how true freedom begins, with a single act of insubordination to the noise.